Hello everybody, we are back. That's right, Street Fight tonight, Wednesday night. It's happening again, finally. It's been so long since I've sat down in front of the mic in this basement across from Brian with Jason running the controls. But I'm glad to be back. Thank you for showing up. I'm a little greasy. I'm still beat up from the tour. It's been a whirlwind week. And I love doing Street Fight. I love talking into the mic. It's a big part of what makes my week stable, what keeps me going. It's my chance to get all this out. And so I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're back. And I'm glad you're showed up for the live stream. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. Join in with the chat. It's all unified. So you can see what everybody is saying while they're watching the show. For those of you that don't know, my name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We're Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. Just came back from a glorious tour. The last show you heard, we all did a bunch of mushroom extracts and recorded together. The Trillbillies, Sam's from the District Sentinel. That was kind of our tour wrap-up show. You got to hear that was the last thing that was on the feed. But this is the regular ass bullshit now, the straight show, and we're already about to go on the road again.
Yeah, let's just do this right now.
We should.
Because it's time. It's running. We're a little late on this one, which is, what do you expect? On the 26th
of August, this month.
Of August in Indianapolis at the Irving, it will be Street Fight and it will be Struggle Session together. Doing a live show.
Unified podcast. Once again, we're bringing more leftist podcasts to the stage. So it's going to be a Street Fight, Struggle Session, joint show. Tickets are available at store.streetfightradio.com. That's Monday, August 26th in Indianapolis, Indiana.
August 27th in Detroit, Michigan. Street Fight and Struggle Session again.
Is it Detroit or it's like Hamtramck or something? It's a
Planet
different-
Ant.
Planet Ant.
We'll just say Planet Ant, and people that live there will know.
Well, I've heard a lot of people are stealing Detroit Valor, and I don't want to be a part of that.
And finally, the second home of Street Fight. Always a wonderful city to visit. Chicago.
Yes.
Friday.
Yes.
August 30th. The last Street Fight Struggle Session show for this run. Come and see us. We have done shows with Jack. We have done shows with Leslie. And now we're doing shows with both of them. And it's going to be so good. They are great. And me and Brett are what we are, you know, what you've grown used to. We're taking new people out on the road, people that haven't got to do a bunch of live podcasts. We're taking them out. We're getting their feet wet. We're helping them learn how to do live stuff. Not that we can teach Jack Allison much about live stuff because he's probably done more than us.
He's an expert.
But we're doing it. It's happening. We're building a scene. You have to be a part of these things. It's too fun. And, you know, if we'll be announcing Texas soon too, and I think we're going back out west soon too. So there you go.
And
That's
we're going to be
tour
at the
news.
Hideout in Chicago, one of our favorite places. Sully is the owner, been a big supporter of Arish and Monkey Wrench and of a lot of stuff. So one of our favorite places to play. Also because at the Hideout there is the Mavis Staples throne, which we get to sit in and be totally disrespectful of. And I feel so guilty every time we take some Kratom or pop some pills in the Mavis Staples throne.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. People very excited in the chat already about us in Struggle Session doing stuff. Look, I'm going to say this. There will be super tours a lot more often now.
Yeah.
The last one was successful. I think even... it's not crazy for me to say this. The Hellfire Congregation is not a one-time thing.
No, we're definitely going to put it back together. I did the payday, and in the chat, you know, first thing Tom Sexton said was, "All right, boys, when are we doing this again?"
Yeah. Tom Sexton, Trillbillies, is a wonderful man, and he reminds you
Legend.
of hanging out with your dad's friends. Basically.
The bad friends that your dad had.
Yeah, the ones that your mom was like, "Oh, shut up, Tom."
Yeah.
You know,
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom is a king, and he's really cool. So, yeah, the Hellfire Congregation is a thing.
We
It
will ride
is
again.
A real thing.
We'll ride again.
It is when Street Fight District Sentinel and the Trillbillies get together. That's the Hellfire
That's the posse.
Congregation. And it will happen again, probably next year, probably
May.
in the Northeast
Yeah.
in May.
We're
so
thinking,
there you go.
Yep, Philly, New York, Boston, the big ones. They want to see what it's like up there in the bright lights in the big city. We're going to go ahead and bring them along.
Let me answer another chat here, too. Let me answer 2 chat questions right here. Somebody said, "Are you going to All Out in Chicago?" Why else would we have booked a show
Yeah.
the day before All Out in Chicago?
Unfortunately, for a lot of the folks that think this is a serious activist organization, we waste a lot of money chasing wrestling down and paying for things that we shouldn't be paying for just so we can go to things like All Out Wrestling.
Let me tell you something that's really... Brett doesn't know this, but I was bummed that we booked DC on the Hellfire Tour, because when they announced AEW's first TV is in DC, I was going to say, "Brett, we going to DC, baby." We're like deadheads for All Elite Wrestling.
Pretty much.
Well, I think I think what we'll do, and here's what I think. We'll go to the TVs if they come to town, and the 4 big pay-per-views, as long as they never go to Las Vegas again.
Yeah, we won't ever go to
back
Las
there.
Vegas.
Yeah.
I can't make that trip.
Hate that trip. It's the worst place. So, yeah.
Before we get started, I do want to say I'm enjoying tonight the Unholy American Triple Ale all the way from Tampa, Florida. The Coppertail Brewing Company listener brought that to us, and I didn't drink it, you know. So I saved it for this. Appreciate that.
One last little thing that was asked in the chat by Abby Jones. Yes, when we do ACL, we will be doing shows in Dallas, Houston, and Austin that week.
Yes.
And we'll announce those very soon. I think they're pretty much close to booked. And
we have Sons of Herman Hall in Dallas, Texas, which is so incredible to me because it's a really old place that lots of legendary acts have played through the days. But I went and saw Todd Barry there one time and loved it, and it had like this really old like Weezer video vibe. And as I was leaving in the parking lot, there was a group of about like 8 to 12 boomer looking people in like tie-dye smoking like pinner joints and drinking beers out the back of like a truck. It was like old school partying on the smallest budget possible.
Yeah, something I do is Brett did move to Dallas for a while, and he lived in DC for a while. And if we book shows in those places, well, both of those places, I actually with DC, I encouraged you.
Yeah.
That no matter how much it costs, we would do Busboys and Poets because that was a place that you went to, and you said it would be neat if we performed. This tour, I said, if you could perform anywhere that's not Cowboy Stadium in Dallas, where would you go? He said Sons of Herman Hall, and I had Katie email them immediately. So
yeah,
I just
out.
like, it's that thing where it's like, we did the Short North stage, and I don't know if Brett was like dying to do the Short North stage, but like, I have a weird hometown thing where like I want to be big in my hometown, and he did it, and it was successful and fun, and it always feels good to do something big in a place that you admire, I guess.
Yeah, I know those places are great. I mean, those are the things as relatively unknown places that you get to see a really good show at. I love to be a part of that tradition. That's something I get out of it.
Yeah. So let's do some fucking radio,
yeah,
man.
It's time to street
We
fight.
went to a funeral today.
Yeah,
I got some news. I'm not going to talk about the funeral very much.
It wiped me out.
It wiped me out. And, about 2 years ago, me and you decided Street Fight is our job, right?
Yeah.
This is our job. We're not looking for another job. Street Fight is what we do for a living. And I didn't throw them away. Goodwill and stuff like that. Every single job interview clothes I owned.
Sure.
It was sort of like your neck tattoo, in that it was like, nope.
I don't need this anymore.
I'll never need a collared shirt again. I'll never need a pair of slacks again. This is it. I wear what I want for the rest of my life.
You did have a silly ass... When you graduated, right? Didn't you have some slacks or a dress
pair of
shirt
slacks and a Michael Kors dress shirt that I wore.
You hit Nordstrom Rack, which is a smart move, right?
Yeah, I actually wore a Bullet Club shirt
to
my graduation.
Okay.
It's kind of embarrassing now, but it was 2015. It
right,
was
which was the hot shit.
Yeah, it was hot shit at the time. But yeah, the reason for this is because I did a job interview at a social work place, and I had to go in there, and I had to, you got to dress up, and my big dumb head, I shaved my big dumb head, and I put that Michael Kors button-up shirt on, and I put those slacks on. And I bombed that interview.
Yeah.
And
some booty ass shoes.
They were fine. They were like dress shoes.
Yeah.
And I bombed the interview, and I don't think I didn't get hired because of how I dressed. I think I didn't get hired because my confidence was completely gone because of the way I was dressed. I couldn't be who I am.
Couldn't feel comfortable.
I think I could have got the job if I was in there like this. If I could go in there like this and sit down and talk to them, they would probably be like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
It was
this
funny.
Is a guy.
For some reason, I didn't even expect you to be there today, so I was glad when I saw you were there in your fucking jeans and your t-shirt, and I was like, this motherfucker. But my mom, which I thank her forever, the first time I wanted to wear, my dad somehow got a hold of some Looney Tunes ties. And I was really excited about them. So I wanted to wear a Looney Tunes tie to my grandma's funeral. And I didn't know if it was appropriate or not. And my mom was like, your grandma fucking loved you for who you are. You can wear whatever the fuck you want. And the same with all that stuff is like, I do put on, everybody puts on the ceremonial stuff, the dark clothes, make sure that there's buttons on the front. They make sure that they got the flip over collar. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter at all. Being there is what matters, and you are who you are, and
I went to go buy stuff, but like it kind of was just like, I don't think anybody expects me to be
doesn't-
dressed up.
you don't have to.
As the funeral, as
I mean,
like
it was-
a funeral
there was-
goer, I'm a very weird, detached human being when it comes to that sort of thing, right? And when a funeral happens, I don't see myself as the center of attention. I don't
Right.
see myself as the person that people are there to see. And I see myself as a guy who wants to respectfully stand in the back of the room.
Yeah.
And just nothing. I don't want to go up and speak.
Yeah.
I don't want to I'm not a guy that I like making, my whole life is about me. Everything is about me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That is the one occasion where I feel very uncomfortable with anybody focusing on, because somebody's dead, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And people are really legitimately grieving, and I don't do that for some reason. And like, the reason I feel bad about the way that I dressed is because I felt like I kind of stood out. And then I started to feel bad because I started to feel sensitive. Like, are people looking at me? Also, here's the other thing. My wife didn't expect me to go to this funeral either. Because it's at 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
I will wake up for a funeral.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a fucking
Were you
crazy
surpri-
person.
Well, that's a wake up call for you. I was surprised. I wanted to text you so bad in the middle of it. Like, I was like, Brian's got to fucking know what's going on, right? I was like, no, don't text, don't fucking text. And then I saw you. I was like, oh, he's fucking here. He saw it, so we can talk about it. But yeah, you shouldn't think twice about it. There's no reason to. If you got it, you should do it. If you don't have the clothes, it don't fucking matter. You know?
I just don't have the clothes, and like, I think now by the end of the year, I'm gonna buy some funeral clothes.
Okay.
'Cause it was just I do need to figure out a way to dress nice, classically nice, and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what the look is that I'm going for. You know,
We gotta go on a shopping day or something.
you know, like
We gotta
rockabilly.
get
Should
Nick,
I do
we gotta get
rockabilly?
Nick to follow us in the mall.
We should. I do need that. Honestly, like, it would be really cool if we had a person that listened to the show that could like consult with me on that sort of thing, right? Like, because I don't even know what the look is. I want to look good.
You just come in with like leather pants. You'd be like so flamboyant.
I
Just
know.
show up like with like pointed like Robert Wayne shoes with like big crosses that have crystals on them and shit.
I mean,
you
the
know?
only suits I've ever liked.
Jeans with like bedazzled butts.
The only suits I've ever looked at and felt like I like that is what the Men in Black
I
wear.
hate suits. No, I didn't. No, actually today, I got up and this is one of those things you just do in your underwear to your wife, and I just proclaimed my hatred for suits. I was like, I don't own a suit, and I don't feel bad about it because I feel like they rob people of their personality, and they're wildly uncomfortable and totally inappropriate for the weather, and I will continue to never be bedazzled by fucking suits.
Well, part of me was going to wear a flannel
Okay.
and jeans, but it's fucking 86
Man, I grew up.
degrees.
My family was black jeans. You wore black jeans to funerals.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you brought the black jeans out. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's what I was. Well, and when I went,
for-
I was like,
it's
there
really,
was.
it's a personal thing. Like, for me, like, I'm putting on that shit because I'm really ceremonial and I'm really romanticized shit. And like, I'm putting on the darkest clothes I fucking own. And I'm like, that is validating for me. But for other people, it's like, do whatever you want. I want to show you this here, right here. This is the fucking.
It's a red. I think I'm the redneck that doesn't dress up for anything now. Oh my God. Brett just showed me a picture of a pallbearer in a t-shirt and a pair of khaki pants holding a large gas station fountain Mountain Dew
While
he pallbears.
while holding a casket. I saw that Will Menaker shared that photo.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know how we can find it. But if you go to his Twitter, maybe you can put it on the feed. Because, that's how I feel about this shit. Come as you are, right? You know what also fucked me up? I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you can't do an applause. Like,
Well-
there's some people that gave some fire speeches, and I just wanted to like burst out in applause. But like I literally, my arms jerked, like I wanted to start clapping, but then I couldn't because it was like. But I don't think that's disrespectful at all, right?
It's interesting because, like, there are a lot of there are people who live their life a certain way, and that are fascinating and vital, and they're funny, and they have these huge personalities, and when I feel like when you stuff their kind of final thing in a church that's like put in sort of a template, it sort of takes away the power of that. But like right. A funeral is not for the dead person; it's for the people close to the dead person. Yeah. And like that's the thing. I've always been so weird about death because like I don't know who I'm supposed to really mourn. You know, like it's like how close do you have to be to a person? Because I don't feel things that way.
You'll be touched eventually.
Yeah.
Your ass is going to get touched.
Right, yeah. But through my whole life, it's always been like, varying degrees of closeness to me. But I'm generally like...
I mean, I have to say that, America, we just do a bad job. We don't acknowledge a lot of it. And it just, we need to do a better job, accepting what we're doing. And, I have to say, most of them, man, the church experience just strangles like all of what it could be.
The emotion really, of the thing. There should be emotion in the thing,
Yeah.
So, since we were talking about job interview clothes, maybe we'll start this first show out with 13 mistakes that could ruin your job interview, according to hiring managers.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm thinking, I could find another job, might pay more than Street Fight. What do I need to know?
How much would you like to do? Don't you wish you could just do an interview, just to do it?
If someone would, sure.
Yeah, just to see if you would have got hired. There should be a party game.
No,
there should be not a party game, but you should be able to, like an escape room. You should be able to go to a job interview, and they tell you at the end if you got the job. Like you won. If you get the job, you won. If you don't, Put that down in a business idea.
That's really bad.
It would actually be a service,
it was like a test. It would be like a test yourself, basically.
Right. You would sit down across from a person.
I'm good at job interviews.
Yeah. So
I'm too good at them.
Here's the first mistake that can ruin. And this is something we've talked about on the show, this first mistake. This is something that I would never do because I am a low self-esteem guy. But pretending you don't have any flaws is the first mistake.
Yeah, that's hard. You got to be honest, but you can't go overboard, and you also can't reveal too much.
So the person says, when I ask a question, what's your biggest weakness? I'm not trying to catch you out by forcing you to reveal your biggest flaws. I'm trying to see if you recognize that you don't have the answers to everything and find out whether you're actually willing to be open and honest about it. Dishonesty is a very toxic trait to have in the workplace, and by providing a generic response or even one that contradicts something you already said, red flags are instantly raised. Which for me is like, that seems like they're hiring a test.
They're hiring for a different standard though. They do hire people. The more dishonest you are, the more likely you are to get the job.
Some job. Yeah. How do you know if somebody's like giving a generic answer? Because honestly, like the answers for interview questions are,
when someone gives you a fake ass answer when you're like, you don't have no self-awareness at all.
Why do I feel like though they want generic? It feels like all the advice out there is generic answers. They want you to do generic answers. What's your biggest weakness? Like, how am I answering that question?
Because if you should know though.
But okay, so my biggest weakness is that I don't like to do work that I'm not supposed to be assigned. Right? Like, I don't like to do things outside of my job category.
Okay.
If I sat down in an interview, and I said, I don't like to be made to do things that aren't inside my job description because I feel like I should be paid more for things that are outside of my job description.
I don't like this. As your hiring manager, I don't like the sound of this right now.
That's what I'm trying to... That is my biggest weakness, though. That is the real fucking weakness.
Pick something else that'll get you the job.
Okay, here's enough punctuality. Oh, I'm late a lot. My biggest weakness.
No. Well, we have a clock-in system. It's called Time OS. If you clock in after 9:04, that's
So that's not
an
getting me the
occurrence.
job.
That's a half an occurrence.
That's not getting me the job.
No, we aren't looking for those kind of
My
weaknesses. You're too weak. You're a little too weak
know.
for our company. Your weaknesses are like glaring.
But this guy's saying don't give generic answers.
What do you
I'm
say
trying
your
to tell
weakness
you
is?
my biggest weaknesses, dude. I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes
You can massage the language though. You could say my biggest weakness is that I need clearly defined goals. I prefer to be in the chain of command where someone tells me what my duties are so I can complete
Nice.
them as needed.
Nice.
Whatever, something like that.
Okay.
You can massage it.
because that is my biggest weakness. The second
You were just like, I need to be told what to do. I'm not like a thinker. I'm not gonna go like the extra effort. I just get shit done. Like just fill my plate and I'll take
like
care
that.
of it.
And this is every employee that I've ever met's biggest weakness. When the rules change, it infuriates me. That's another weakness, right?
I'm not
To them.
flexible.
Yeah,
I'm not flexible
I
at
just
all.
hate it when you change the rules.
I prefer everything stay the same and no surprises.
Number 2, bad-mouthing your old boss.
But
Like, I feel like you can the rapport with the interviewer.
Yeah.
You can bad-mouth your old boss.
why are bad bosses are beyond reproach? Like you can't say anything about a bad boss now these days? Like this guy fucking sucked. I mean, this guy used to sexually harass me. This guy used to, show up 2 hours late, show up drunk. I've had bad bosses, right?
Yeah.
So no bad bosses. Okay.
I've had candidates tell me it was a mistake going to work there, or I did not get along with my boss, or I did not like the company culture.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Without explaining more. I recommend sticking to facts and leaving the emotion out of it. For example, say, my manager changed 3 times over the year, and so did my job requirements. It makes sense that you would want to leave that company.
Yeah, I mean, that's one you just got to... That is true. I mean, once again, it's just basic manipulation of social interaction with your interviewer here. You do not want to bring up negative things at all.
Yeah.
But you do want to point at, like, the negative stuff that happened.
Why
Just
can't
say,
you-
like,
I mean,
I was there for 6 months. There was a lot of management changes. I was able to learn to be flexible, which, like I told you earlier, was my weakness, and so that has actually was a big stone.
He said in that one about the weakness, though, he said don't contradict yourself. So you got to remember that you did.
But
some
when you
shit.
draw them in, they see
tell
all
the
the
story.
layers.
Tell your
Yes,
arc.
they see all of it.
So I guess like the number 3 irritated me. This is the first one that really got me. Okay. This is the first one that I thought was unfair, and that is not bothering to check out the website. Yeah, nobody knows you're supposed to do that. Who knows you're supposed to do that?
I do it.
Well, of course
I want
you
to
do.
know.
You're a website guy.
I want to
am
know.
too.
But you're right. As somebody that checks things, I know that 99% of people don't check things.
No, we just had this conversation on tour, and I'm going to talk about this real quick. So, in my city, in Columbus, I get around it a lot. Brett also gets around it a lot. And for some reason, me and Brett, we always know when there's a new restaurant opening. We know when there's a new store opening. We know when there's a new bar or something opening because we go by it. We say, oh, look, there's a new thing opening right there. When it opens, oftentimes, I will say to my wife, oh, I want to go to this new restaurant. And she'll say, how do you even know that's open? It's like, because we've been driving by it for fucking months now. That's how I fucking know it's open.
Right.
I look around. What do you look at when we're in the car? What do you look at when we're walking?
Yeah.
So I'm perceptive. I will check the website. Of course I will. But most people don't check anything ever. They never go further into the process. You know what I'm saying? We talk about this with music, and one of the reasons me and Brett get along so well and work so well together is because he is the actual first person I've ever met in my life that sees something that he doesn't understand, like on TV or a joke or a movie, and he goes and fucking looks it up and tries to figure it out instead of just saying either 1, I didn't understand it, or 2, explain it to me. Like Brett wants to know himself. And that, to me, That's how I am. It was just like I would read Spin Magazine and they'd be like, oh yeah, no, these guys were like really fucking inspired by the band Cursive. So instead of saying, oh, well, I don't know what that means because I've never heard Cursive,
Right.
I went and fucking listen to Cursive.
Right.
So I can understand what the band was.
important.
Yeah. A lot of people don't do that,
No.
though. And it seems unfair. You're asking people to do something that is so fucking out of their nature to check the website.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And most websites are so out of date, and most websites, aren't necessary for.
No. Nobody even does their sites. You know, the only website I go to of a company is like the power company because I have to go to that site to pay my bills. The gas company. And you know what? Those sites are might as well be Squarespace sites.
Yeah.
They're just the most basic things. So the boss in here says, I've done a few interviews where the candidate didn't even look at the website. That's not an option these days. It's a must. I asked for their opinion on the site and a few recommendations, and they stared blankly. Can you imagine? You're going to get a job that has nothing to do with a website. Like your
Secrets,
job,
man.
data entry job. I'm going to get a data entry job where I just like type stuff into a spreadsheet, which, by the way, dream job of mine for years. This is just like when I was
big money,
collar,
big money in
when I
there.
was roofing.
Big money in spreadsheets.
Well, yeah, and when I was roofing, it was like they give you a desk, and like I would look at data. I applied for 100 data entry jobs, never got one, but I applied for a lot. And he said, I'd say a baseline skill is to come prepared, review the website, and have an opinion, even if you're not the expert. So this guy, this is another one of those things where it's like a guy that does the hiring has no concept of what the people that are sitting down for the interview are running into. Because I personally can't imagine going to a job interview and having the guts to be like, y'all should have a better search function on your website.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, no, I love dunking on them. That's like telling the
nagging
teacher
'em.
they're wrong. This is also one of those things where you're requiring so much of people to get so little as far as like jobs and stuff go, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's not enough room for people to have high earning positions the way it lays out anyways. And to get those positions, it's just the requirements.
Little games.
All of your time, all of your spare time, you need to spend studying stuff like this.
And playing little games.
Like this needs to be a part of your life. You need to get these emails on the daily to remind you to do this shit, you know? Like you need to be hungry for climbing up the ladder.
And I've said this. I've said this on the show. An interview is a little game. You're playing a little game, and that's all it is. Number 4, forgetting to say thank you. Which is, I get
fuck
it,
you forever.
You know, but it is.
You gotta say thank you. I mean, a lot of people weren't grown up with good manners, but I don't know.
We're Ohio boys, though, where we say thank you and sorry even when we don't mean it. You know what I mean? Like, I say thank you even when somebody's being a dick to me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, thank you.
I'm always thankful.
Yeah.
Don't say thank you. How would you not say that?
Yeah.
Why aren't you? I mean, this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, folks, I don't want to tell you that you can just be the worst possible person and expect to get a job. Kiss some fucking ass here.
You do have to kiss
Say
ass.
thank you.
I agree.
Say fucking thank you.
If you're looking for a job, you have to say thank you.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise they're not going to give you a fucking job.
Although here's something that bothers. I want to read the guys, Amy Hyde, her director of operations at Outspoken Media. Her little blurb for forgetting to say thank you is kind of infuriating to me. And that is that we had a candidate for an entry-level position who looked great on paper, great cover letter, decent experience. As we went through the hiring process, there were many email exchanges and a few on-site interviews before we presented an offer. The one thing that stuck out during this particular hiring process was the candidate never showed any signs of gratitude. Email exchanges were absent of a thank you. Even after the on-site interviews, the candidate never thanked any of us after a team interview. This weakened their consideration for an entry-level role at our agency, which to me is like, the gratitude thing I think might be a little weird in that, like, I want to come into a job feeling like it's a 50-50 proposition. I'm giving you a service, and you're doing me. We're both part of this, right? And did they in the interview? I feel if the interviewer doesn't say thank you for your time, maybe then I'm not gonna say thank you. You know?
Yeah.
It's like fuck you.
I'll say it back, right? I have to say that this is also maybe a problem though. Now that I think about it, for me, because if I'm not mad at you, then I fucking love you. Like if everything's going, I'm not good. So, some of the people that work for us need a little bit of more compliments than like I'm comfortable with, and I try to extend the hand out for them to give them like attaboys and stuff on text. But like, even it's hard for me with my relationship with my wife, where it's like, dude, I hate like I complain about every person I meet to you.
Yeah.
And like you're the one person that I can deal with all the time. Like literally, just me being with you is my sign of like approval.
We've had
I am so open about how much I dislike people's behavior and fucking shit, and you don't bother me, you know.
I mean,
but it's like that's really low. It's not like a good standard. That's my weakness.
Right. We've had conversations within the thing where it's like if you're gonna work for us, there's a certain amount of like we're different guys, and you got to deal with both of us. And it's just two completely, totally different things. And my wife works for us, and she's learning slowly that it's two different things. You're dealing with two different guys. You're dealing with two completely different ways of thinking. And like, I like Brett. I like the way Brett does stuff. That's why he's my partner, and that's why he's my business guy. I like a guy that is 100 all the time, just honest. And that's why the fake bullshit pleasantries thing, I just don't feel like it's fucking necessary, because in my opinion, the best thing that you could do for me is like, just tell me if I got the job or not. You know what I mean? Just tell me if I'm making you mad right now, just fucking tell me I'm making you mad.
Yeah.
If you want me to do something, you just tell me to do that. It's not a fucking thing that's like you expect me to do something. And that's what I don't like about little requirements, like a thank you in a job interview, because I don't like this idea that you want something from me, but you don't kind of explain what you want from me.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather
Secret
you come
rules.
off as terse and say like, hey, you know, and again, if this interviewer had said, hey, thank you for your time on this interview, and then she walked out and she was like, you're damn right, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it, man. But like, I doubt it, dude. I doubt that it was any of that.
She was probably sat there and was like, and you say thank you? You know, she was just like looking at her.
At the end of an interview, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, it was nice to meet you. Have a good day or whatever.
And they just stare at you and see what you do.
Yeah, and they want to thank you, which is, that's not fair. That's not fair.
I don't
to
know.
expect.
Sure. You're right.
It's not a relation. It's not a gift. A job interview is not a gift. A job is not a gift to have gratitude
That's fair.
for.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
It is not a get. The company isn't like doing a charitable, wonderful thing by giving you a job.
Yeah.
They are hiring you so that you can provide them a service that they need because they hired you.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me nuts about these fake little pleasantries and stuff that they expect. The next rule for 13 mistakes that could ruin your job interview, according to hiring managers. This one's funny. Having your own personal happy hour.
What?
I'm going to read this.
The job interview?
Video interviews are becoming more common, and in my experience, candidates may not take this type of interview seriously or remember that they and all their actions are on camera. I interviewed a candidate for a tech position who, halfway through the interview, reached to his right and grabbed a pint of beer. He brought it to his mouth and took a sip before he gave his answer to the question. He was very nonchalant about it. Is that a beer, I asked? Yes, an IPA, he responded. Sure, the interview was at 4 p.m., but it wasn't a happy hour interview. The conversation ended shortly after that.
That's bullshit.
I think if you're in your house, you can drink a beer. That's my opinion.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, my wife has done this twice now. They paid for a plane ticket. They paid for lodging. They paid for everything to have her come and interview at the place because they are a very serious company that is looking for serious employees. So they spend that type of money.
Yeah.
If you're expecting me to do an interview over the phone, I'm doing a fucking dab. I'm going to be in my underwear.
Do you want me to put a tie on and sit at my computer desk?
Right.
Sit in my recliner with my laptop on my lap?
You want me to put a hang in there cat poster behind me? You want me to put like some motivational, like some guy doing windsurfing behind me?
I think it's extremely, and maybe this is me being like me, I think it's extremely unfair to say you can work from home, but you can't have beer.
Yeah,
I don't
that's what
know
you're
why.
getting.
It's just your home.
In this day and age, I mean, I saw a tweet that summed it up. I don't know who did it, but really, I mean, people are either working like 3 jobs, 60 hours a week, or they have some weird internet thing where they're just drunk and high all day and work for about 3 hours a day. Like, that's what you're hiring for.
I think you should be able to drink when you work from home. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to be in a meeting. You're just entering stuff.
It's work done. It's not the attitude, lifestyle, or way. It's work done.
Agreed.
Stay out of it. But yeah, that is a really bold maneuver. I can't imagine. I would, once again, I mean, just be a liar. Be more of a liar. I would love to have IPAs during our interviews, but in this day and age, you want to lie a lot more. You have to con these people. There's a lot of money that you can take from these people, especially one that's just going to video phone interview that you can type. I mean, I knew an IT guy that was claiming 6 figures income for an hour and a half of maintenance, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And because he was the guy that was doing their system and doing it remotely. You can, but you have to just have a little bit of, you just have to be a little bit more, respectable about it, I guess.
Right. And I'm a smart guy in that, like, put me in that interview position. I take a drink of a beer. The interviewer on the other side says, "Is that a beer?" Oh, no, that's a root beer.
Yeah,
actually, that's beer. Like
cream soda.
Yeah, because if she asked you if it's a beer, then it's a problem.
Don't say it. Yeah. You know what? Well, actually, my somebody I know at their job, they were doing social media, and they've been doing a lot of meetings about how we need to jazz up the social media. This shit's getting boring. We're not getting likes and all that. And this guy is kind of the jokester in the business. He's the comic relief, the color of the thing. And so they did a little Instagram live thing where he threw a bunch of firecrackers underneath the guy that was on a ladder.
Oh, shit.
And nothing happened. The guy was just whatever. But they were like, we have to have a conversation about this. He was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I messed up. He's like, no, we have to, like, write this down on paper now. He's like, am I going to lose my job? Like, he was that, like, it was one of those moments where they're like, oh, we love you. We love your antics. You're so much fun to have around. And he did something harmless, like throwing firecrackers.
The shock jock.
Yeah,
I mean, the shock jock social media
there.
guy. I know.
Good. He's just good. Like, that's what people love. People think he's great. Like, everybody liked it, but it's like, we can't have that on our social media because it shows an unsafe environment.
It is. It's pretty unsafe. I mean,
bullshit. Come on.
Number 6, negotiating like a rookie. One can't, which I don't get. Nobody knows how to negotiate. Nobody in America.
Black belt negotiation.
Okay, but that is, I would say.
There was a book called that.
I'm going to do
somebody we know read.
I'm going to do a percentage, and I know a lot of people don't trust my percentages or think that I have like a skewed version. I truly believe that 2% of the population knows how to negotiate.
Bullshit. So many foreign people know how to negotiate.
I don't know.
You're comfortable.
Anybody.
You're comfortable. You have extra money to lose. You're not like scrounging for pennies.
I don't know how to.
Other people are like fighting for that.
I don't know how to
get
ask
like
for more.
every extra.
I don't know
penny.
how to ask. I never ask for more. I'm not a negotiator. I don't consider myself a person that can negotiate. I'm part of the 98%. I think that like there is the number of people in the job market.
Middle Eastern people totally disagree.
Okay. I just think the number
Asian
of
people totally disagree.
In the job market that can negotiate is very small. And the number that have no idea what they're doing when they sit down.
Market, sure.
Yeah. One candidate asked the following question during the interview. I know that during my phone call with the HR department, I acknowledged that I'm okay with the $70,000 salary, but because of my bills and upcoming wedding expenses, it would not be enough for me. Would you consider paying me $85,000 if you decide to hire me? That seems like a good negotiation to me. To me, that sounds perfect. This person was fairly young and didn't know how to negotiate compensation. Ideally, he would have asked for more money up front or come up with a counteroffer later that didn't involve his personal reasons for needing a higher salary. But I
missed that. I guess that. What was it again?
So the guy was supposed to be making $70K.
Okay.
Right? And then he said, I need 85.
Okay.
I got a lot of bills. I got a wedding coming up. It's 70K is not going to be enough. I need 85.
Okay.
And the guy said, the guy said this person was fairly young and didn't know how to negotiate compensation.
No, I think that's
ideally
that
he would have asked for more money up front or come with a counteroffer later that didn't involve his personal reasons for needing a higher salary.
He already accepted 70K?
Well, I think like when he talked to HR at first, the first interview, they were like, it's going to be 70K. And he was probably like, oh, okay, that's...
Yeah,
70K is
at
fine.
it and was like,
then he started doing the math, and he was like, I got a wedding coming up. I need 85, But I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair to say that you're not allowed to use personal reasons to negotiate your raise. And I've seen it.
That's bad hiring. This is bad hiring.
Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff earlier, though. I was reading about negotiating raises as part of the show prep. I was just looking through work stuff, human resources sites and stuff. And I read so many human resources people say that if you're asking for a raise, you don't bring up personal reasons why. And that to me is like, but that's like why I need the raise.
Yeah, that's no, and that's bad management, to be honest. I don't think that's going to be successful because you need to know what people's motivations are. Mm-hmm. And somebody that is getting married, that is just like, so maybe you bring them in 85K, and then instead of getting constant raises, you give them days off so that they can do honeymoons or do vacations or stuff. It's just like you learn the motivations of the people so that you can work with them and get the best out of them. So that is really terrible advice. I think that's stupid. Well, you need to know why. I mean, you just need to know, like, everybody needs to be very upfront. I'm fucking here because I want this amount of money because I like to do these things. It's like, I want this amount of work done to make this amount of money. Like, can you fucking do it or not?
Yeah.
We don't get
that's
that.
What an interview
and a lot
should
of
be.
it is like this is all mirrors and subtleties and made up things and a little psychic dance that you're supposed to do back and forth. Where we can't just be upfront about stuff.
Yeah, it's theater is what it is. You're going in and you're putting on an act when really what you just said is what a job interview should be. I need this amount of money. I can do this. And then I need you to do this and I'll give you this amount of money. That's fucking interview.
Yeah.
When you overlay all these little games like number 7, crossing the line from confidence to arrogance. Like, who knows where that line is, dude? I don't know where that line is.
People should know that line.
Yeah,
I do think you shouldn't be. I've hated arrogant people ever since I was a young lad, and I've always cut them down.
But how do you sell yourself without being? I don't understand, and this is maybe my low self-esteem. Is that like I don't understand how I would sell myself without coming off arrogant. Again, I think that saying nice things about yourself is arrogant, though. So maybe I'm wrong. I just don't know how you make that situation happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a problem for you. I mean, anybody that has those doubts, I think that you should just do it because if you have any doubts at all, you're not arrogant.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Because a lot of people don't, are uncomfortable feeling confident in what they do or proud of who they are. And they mess it up because they have doubts, which is common, and you should. That's a good sign, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be proud at all. You know, it's the arrogant people are the ones that just walk into the place and don't second guess anything they do. They don't question. Like if they never have any doubts at all, that's when you're too fucking arrogant.
Here's number 8: double dipping employers. And this is a crazy story.
Double dipping employers.
We've been working on a data science engineer role for a big startup. One of the guys we found was literally a genius. He passed 4 rounds of interviews, solved several data science problems, and did a 4-hour test with only 2 cups of coffee and a bag of Cheetos, all while streaming to 4 other people who were watching his every move. He was clearly brilliant, had matching experience, up-to-date skills. So the big day comes. He's about to do the formal introductory interview with our client. Then, 2 minutes before the call, he tells me he's decided to stay with his current company and he wants to do both jobs full time. He was entirely sure that 4 hours would be good enough. 4 hours of sleep would be good enough, and figured this would be a good way to pay off his mortgage faster. I asked him not to mention this to the client's team. We would figure it out after the call if there was anything we could do to make it work. But in the end, he decided to go ahead and try to negotiate his scheme on his first meeting with the client.
See, but this is for real. This is a big problem, though, because a lot of these places are only hiring at 26 hours, and they're like, I don't want to hire somebody else that has other obligations. There's lots of fucking customer service and fast food jobs that will hire you for 32 hours. And you're like, well, I need to work something else. And they're like, well, we need to have a schedule that's erratic, that you can't really.
You have to be open.
Yeah.
Your schedule has to be open all the time.
All of your time has to be open for Burger King.
Yeah. True.
Burger King's so fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I've had about a half dozen of those Impossible Whoppers now.
Jesus.
And it is insane to me because my daughter has got a kids meal, and at every single one they seem to have a whole different promotion going. There was Beyblades at one, there was Powerpuff Girls at another, and there was My Little Ponies, and that was all in the span of a week.
In the same city?
In the same city, and there's like no coordination going on at those places at all. There's shit hanging on the walls that was like from last fucking summer.
Or last
that place is
90s.
So slapped together. I have no idea how it's in business.
The Impossible Whopper is going to be the thing that keeps it running.
Yeah, man.
All these
I'll
vegetarians
$20
are rolling
motherfucking dollars for a couple combos. I'll pay it. I got it.
Everybody, because
I'm podcaster. I'm one of those elite podcasters on a plant-based diet.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this I shouldn't say this because it's a big corporation. Whopper's the best fast food cheeseburger, and as soon as they made this Impossible Whopper, I was like, I'm going back to the Whopper. You know, because the meat at Burger King, because of the like slap together nature of Burger King, the meat makes me nervous now.
Sure.
Because when I go in there, I'm like, okay, like. No.
Sure.
I get, but now that I can get Impossible, I think they probably set that thing right on top of other cheeseburgers.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's got a little extra from the grill, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's got extra seasoning on it. That's called flame broiled.
Number 10 is not asking questions, which we all know that. I just never know what questions to ask. You know, at the end of the interview,
you got
when they're like, "You got any questions?" and they always want you to ask a question, and I might be the worst interview in the world because I always say, "Well, no, you really answered all my questions for me." That's why I never get jobs.
You just are like, so I mean,
but what if I don't
feel
have
like
any
such
questions?
a square. I hate being such a square.
What questions do you
so
ask?
Obvious to like just be a little kind and say thank you and polite and ask questions and be there and present for the moment. If you're trying to get a job, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I guess you're just sending. Here's the thing. I think the signal that you're sending to a person when you say, "I think you've answered all the questions that I have," is that you've been listening. And.
I have a little journal. I wrote down my notes.
I don't have questions, dude. If you told me how much I'm
making...
making...
You always have questions. You're like... You definitely need some clarifications. Like, so how many... Like, on breaks, is it 15-minute breaks?
You're not allowed to ask about that.
Does that include, like, walking to the break room or not? Is that part of it? Can I clock in and out? You know...
That's not the kind of question. You ask that, you're in trouble. They don't want you asking about your breaks. That's like saying lunch is your favorite school subject. They're not. You don't know how to. You don't. But you don't even. You don't have any inclination to be like a little good boy that asks a question. Like, so do you offer reimbursement for college education if I wanted to extend, you know, my knowledge? Like, you don't ask anything like that? No, I never have asked any questions. You don't kiss ass. You don't have any. You just don't want to kiss ass. I don't think it's kissing ass. I feel like you have to. I feel like you're telling them when you say. It's gonna be your new mommy and daddy. when you say, I don't have any questions, you answered all of them, I feel like it's actually a compliment to the interviewer. You're telling the interviewer.
Well, if you stand up and bow and tip your hat, maybe.
Okay. Lying about your connections, which is like, how are they going to catch you?
Oh, yeah, fuck that. Everybody lies about their connections. Everybody. Come on. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair. We do know that guy at one point. We did know a guy that knows a guy that can do
this
that.
is depressing, though. Listen to this. One time I interviewed a woman who stated she was good friends with an employee in the office and talked about her family and how much she loved them.
Oh, no.
Yet when I asked the employee about it, she said they were just acquaintances. Down the road, when we called her references, her previous boss told us on the phone that the candidate was known for lying among other negative qualities. That's not fair. That's like you're examining this woman's relationships with other people. Maybe sometimes you can be friends with somebody and the other person thinks you're an acquaintance.
And if someone is rooting for me on Instagram with likes and comments, that's my family.
Every person who's ever faved one of my posts on Twitter, I consider them my friend.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I know them a little bit.
These last two are just ones that nobody does. Being rude to the receptionist.
Yeah, fuck that person.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
would never hire that. And stalking the staff, which is
Oh
weird.
my God! Wow,
weird.
Oh my God, is that a problem?
I had someone
just as big of a problem as people. What was the earlier ones? What was one of the earlier?
Happy hour.
Yeah, it was just as bad. So people are drinking on the job and also stalking the employees.
It says, I had someone who called the front desk a dozen times so he could talk to other people in the company. What he didn't realize was they had caller ID and saw that when he didn't get what he wanted, he kept calling and calling and calling. He even hung up if the same person answered, like he was going to trick the receptionist. Needless to say, he didn't get hired.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
probably
you
me.
got to let
They're
someone
talking.
work that out. I mean, people are going to have a pathetic moment in their life, and some of us will bear witness to that, and hopefully they learn from it.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing because it's like, I hate uncertainty, and most humans hate uncertainty quite a bit.
Yeah.
And job interviews lead. Like when you're in a desperate position where you need a job.
I know, when you know. I love calling, and you're just like, hey, is Susan in? And there's like sweat is just beating at your temple, and they're like, oh no, Susan's not in. You're like, oh, they told me to call at noon today. I could talk to Susan. She was the hiring manager. And you're just like, they're like, no, Susan isn't here. This is the third day you've called, sir. You know.
Yeah.
It's just like, and you're not getting the point of it. You're like, it seems like it's a misconnection. I sure thought I did a great job. You know.
Yeah. Uncertainty sucks, and when you're not employed, you do panic. I was just calling to see if you had looked at my I learned this in high school. I learned this in high school, and this is bullshit. My teacher taught me this. Oh, God, I wish I could remember her damn name, but she did teach me this. She said 1 week after you fill out a job application, you call the business and say, I wonder if you'd had a chance to look over my application.
Yeah, you have to do that. Yeah. That's good advice. It's good advice.
It sounds like they don't want that, according to this.
Well, I mean, no, calling all day. One time is okay. Calling all day is a different thing there.
Let's
yeah, that is like, I mean, that's just like, you're grabbing the person by the hand really hard and you're like, I really want this. I'm going to die if I don't have a job and I will do this. Please just fucking give it to me.
I'm not, dude, I
want it.
So desperate sometimes to get a job that like I would call a few times in a day. They'd be like, "Oh, she's out right now. She's at a meeting." And then I remember sitting in my apartment and being like, "So what's a meeting's like an hour?"
Yeah.
And then I'd call back at an hour, and then be like, "Oh no, she's still in the meeting, or she's at lunch." And I'm like, "Well, lunch is about an hour, or so I'll give her time to get back, get situated at her desk, and then I'll give her a call." She's not in right now. She's in talking to somebody. It's like, okay, here, I'm going to be reasonable now. I'll wait 3 hours.
Right.
And then I'll call her. And then 3 hours later, I call and she's not available. And it's like, in my head, I know in my mind I should be saying, like, you're not getting this job. Dude.
Yeah.
They don't, they're avoiding you.
If they want you.
Yeah. If they want you, they will seek you out and find you.
They know you're interested.
My big job hunting time was cell phone.
Yeah.
And it was just like, if you were not home, oh my God. The amount of times I knew I would check voicemail and it wouldn't be there. And I would call and be like, I was just seeing if you called and like got a busy signal or anything. Like, it just,
Yeah.
I was a real.
Okay, yeah. Maybe you
wanted
need to
a
hear this
job.
advice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I think I did.
Yeah.
That, for me,
Don't
I
call
was-
too much.
I called so
Once
much.
is enough.
I called a lot.
Yeah, once is enough.
I know, and I would be standing
He's
at
just-
work at
it's,
times.
Jason can't believe it.
Jason's like, why? This is why
Jason's
Brian
like-
didn't ever get a real job.
It's hard sometimes to hear.
Right. I got like a charity job. The cable job was a charity job. I showed up to the interview in shorts and
Well, you get what you get. Yeah.
flip flops. And the guy was just like, okay, I mean, obviously I shouldn't hire you, but you're a friend of somebody that works here, so I'll go ahead and hire you. And they just hired me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Let's do some news. Got some big news that happened in the past week. 5 employees of a Burger King in Clovis, New Mexico, no longer have jobs following an incident involving a police officer's order that took place last Thursday.
Ooh, yes.
Per KRQE Albuquerque, the officer, Timo Rosenthal, was in uniform when he placed an order from the Burger King. When he unwrapped his order, the sandwich wrapper displayed a cartoonish drawing of a pig with a star that presumably represents a badge. The officer subsequently shared the photo on Facebook. Rosenthal went on to note in his Facebook post that the patties were burnt and the burger was of very poor quality. Buddy, you're at Burger King.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, no, that's not fair.
It's a dice roll.
Right. It's not fair to be like, they messed up my cheeseburger.
This shit's crazy.
Because Burger King is maybe the most inconsistent
Dice roll.
place I've ever been to. Like,
Yeah.
of all of the restaurants, when I go to Burger King, I have zero confidence that they got my order right.
Yeah.
None.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's just inconsistent. That's what you get when you go to Burger King.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
said this a million times.
Sometimes, I really love it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then others, it's, you just take a bite and you're like, oh, fuck it. And you just throw it on the ground. You just spike it like a football. Get
Listen
rid of
to
it.
this, though. But, see, okay, the story here. Is he really that hurt? Are his feelings hurt? Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
yeah,
Did a guy
I mean-
come in and get his feelings hurt? A guy with a gun
Yeah,
come in and
he's-
sit down and he got sad when he went to eat because he's a piggy boy?
Yeah, he wants to help. He wants to help everybody by putting them in jail when they be bad.
Yeah. When KRQE contacted the Burger King in question, a manager told them that 5 employees involved in the incident had been fired. 5 people didn't draw that thing.
No.
Fox News reports the location has also pledged free meals for uniformed law enforcement and a catered lunch to the police department. Like the way that these companies bend over backwards when, look, somebody drew a pig. Okay, the
It's
person
the
that
life,
drew the
dude.
pig. Actually, yeah, you're right. No, you're a cop. And
It's the
people
life.
call you a fucking pig.
It's the life. I mean,
That's the world.
that's just part of it. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to deal with it. I'm not going to deny the energy I put out there and what I ascribe, like what I'm a part of the institution that people dislike. That's,
Yeah.
You fucking get. That's what you get. That's what you
Yeah.
fucking get. Be better than change shit. Like, be different.
Right.
If things could be different. Like, I think that, like, I mean, we've lived relatively untouched, for our beliefs that, cause a lot of people to feel fucking horror. And I fully expect to be unliked for what I say,
Right. I've said this before. It's like, you don't get to exist in a vacuum.
Right.
I've said this about comedy a lot too. It's like, I do this podcast. I do live shows where the audience, I don't ask them to, but the audience at times will chant, "Kill Jeff Bezos." And I fully expect Fox News or somebody to someday get a hold of that video and play that video and say far left podcast chants "Kill Jeff Bezos"
Yeah.
at their live show. Whatever. But like, it's part of the job. Like, and I fully understand that it's like that's part of my job.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, you know what? I can't even be mad at Fox for doing
Yeah,
it, to
yeah.
tell you the truth, because that's Fox's job. And like with the cops, it's like they expect people not to be
Reverence.
angry, and the thing about service workers is that's a lot of the people the cops are busting all the
Yeah.
fucking time.
A lot of times,
You know?
a lot of people that will hire folks that have a record.
Yeah, yeah. Or just even the cops love busting poor people without
Yeah.
money. We work at Burger King, you don't have that much money.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's crazy. He said, Officer Rosenthal subsequently appeared on Fox and Friends, where he said, everybody has the freedom of speech, you know. If people want to express the hate or resentment they have for law enforcement, they can certainly do that. But they follow it up with actions, which then I don't get to enjoy my lunch or other. He fucking just... He was like, you know, I
My
believe in
stomach is
freedom of
turned.
speech. You know, as a person, I believe in freedom of speech. I believe those employees have their freedom of speech, but they also made me sad at my lunch, so they shouldn't have a job anymore.
Yeah, my stomach's turning.
I mean, you all have in New York the people that throw water on the cops. That's not okay. That's been a big story.
Yeah, that's been cool.
They threw water at cops, which is funny.
Yeah.
And the cops are like, that could have been acid. It's like, fuck,
Now, fuck off.
fuck you. You know what I mean?
Well, it's fun. I mean, you know what? I have children that cover me with water now.
Could be acid,
I've
though.
been in to
That's
be
the
at the to get mad about it is so stupid. It's so hilarious. If you're the person that is like that's everybody is throwing water on, like just enjoy
My
it,
son
you know.
needs this
Be the
drug.
butt of the fucking joke, you know.
I hope
Yeah.
doesn't
It's
cost
water.
too
Oh,
much.
shit. Sorry, guys.
I hope
There's
my
audio
Fucking,
going
it's
on.
like the
pays
gift
for
of
it.
life, right?
Can you tell me
Okay.
how much this will be?
It's still coming out.
60
Hold on. I'm apologizing to the listeners as we
God,
speak.
what is this?
All right. A possession charge against Georgia Southern quarterback Shai Wertz has been dropped after police determined that there was no cocaine in a substance that Wertz claimed was bird poop. Authorities in Clinton County, South
What?
Carolina. Yep. I know.
Wait, where's this?
Authorities in Clinton County, South Carolina pulled Wertz over for speeding on July 31st. When they approached the car, police saw a substance on the hood of Wertz' Dodge Charger that
What?
tested positive for cocaine.
What?
And tests conducted in the field. So these tests were done in the field. These tests are notoriously bad.
Yeah.
Like I heard a lot
And
of stories.
I've seen them actually use drugs, take drugs that they have to spike the test.
yeah. Oh yeah. Wertz attorney.
They've been caught too several times.
Yeah, oh, I know. Well, even then, like I've heard countless stories of people getting busted and it testing positive, and then finding out it's not drugs.
Yeah.
you know, like this was bird shit on the hood of a guy's car.
They thought there
they-
was crusted cocaine on someone's car that they scraped off.
Yeah, yeah.
That yin yang shit, a little bit of black in there,
Yeah.
the white and the black.
In the video, you see the conversation between Wertz and one of the officers who pulled him over. What's the white stuff on the front of your hood, man?
What?
The officer can be heard
No,
once Wertz was put in a police
this is
car.
a nightmare. Just imagine, like,
I know.
like, I mean, when I have cocaine on me, like, I'm so
Oh, yeah.
unreasonably afraid about everything, even though I can get away with murder. But, like, to be a black male and they start talking about that and you have stayed away from that because you know
You're a
that
quarterback of a
you
football team.
just will never, if you touch that, they will find a way to get you.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're now accusing of you having cocaine crusted on the front of your fucking car.
In the place where birds shit. It's not a rare thing to have bird shit on the front of your car. I have never looked at bird shit on a car and thought, let's see if we can do a line of that. It might,
Right.
Somebody might have left cocaine, because as people often do, they do chop up lines of cocaine right on the hood of their car, and then that cocaine does actually also stick on the car when they drive at high speeds because he was speeding.
It's like, let's snort the plaster off these work boots.
I don't get, dude. This is
That's wild,
so. What's the white stuff on the front of your hood, man? The officer can be heard.
man.
Once
I'm coming at
Wertz
you.
was put in a
I'm
police
talking
car.
jive, man.
Yeah, bird shit. He responded. That ain't bird shit. The officer responded.
No way.
I promise you that is bird doo doo. Wertz said. I promise you that it's not because I tested it and it turned pink. The officer replied. You can see it on the windshield.
Yeah, because birds
Wertz
are all
said.
fucked up from the shit that we put in the air.
Brett, who does coke on the hood of their car?
No.
I've never,
No.
in all of my life of knowing all kinds of people that do all kinds of drugs, never seen somebody chop up a line on the hood of their car. I can't even imagine doing.
If you had a cool car,
I guess it's dirty though. It's like a dirty place.
I just don't think it would stay.
When you're driving? No,
No.
it wouldn't. Unless maybe he thought he sneezed a snot glob of cocaine onto the car.
I don't know how.
It's like, I'm trying to
How would
fucking
it be
construct
there?
this in my head. Is what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying as hard as I can, which is impossible to get into the mind of a cop. Okay.
I once had one of our friends on the way to a holiday cookie party have to spend like a good amount of time explaining why they had baking powder. I'm sorry, what's the sugar? The confectioner's sugar. That refined shit.
Yeah.
They had it in a bag, and the cops thought they had busted him for fucking drugs.
They didn't like just go.
That sugar. I don't know.
They didn't smell it. I guess they're so scared of powder.
They are. They don't do that.
Yeah.
You wish they would just do the drugs, and like if I was the police, I would be like what's this? Like I would snort it and be like, oh, that's bird shit. I just snorted bird shit. Oh my fucking god.
It's just the conversation continued in the back of a police car where the officer suggested quickly that it was cocaine. Wirtz continued to plead his case.
Damn it.
I tried to clean it last night at a gas station, he said. What is it, pink? Wirtz will still face a charge for speeding, but that is a relatively minor considering there wasn't enough proof that the bird poop was actually cocaine, as was initially reported by the officers.
You should get
involved
off,
in the
man.
case.
If someone starts saying you did cocaine, if you have cocaine on your car and you don't, you get off the whole thing.
I mean,
and they need to give you like a gift card for groceries.
Right. This cop got a black guy that is also a quarterback at a college,
Racist.
and he thought he won.
Yeah.
He thought, oh boy, I did the thing.
You're out here driving this car, doing your cocaine,
Yep.
I know what you're up to.
That's exactly it. He thought
You had piles of cocaine stacked on this car so that you could shoot a rap video.
Yeah.
And then crusted. There was a crust of cocaine on the front of your vehicle.
I really am trying to construct the night.
Oh man,
where
nobody
the
would like
cocaine
cocaine.
gets on the hood of the car.
Every bit of it gets licked up. People are eating their boogers and shit, man. Nobody is leaving it on the fucking hood of the car, man. I would I would be scraping my teeth against that fucking thing if it was like that.
Right. A cop thinks that people are just leaving. How much bird shit is a good pile of coke?
Really, that's a really huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's
all at once would
bump.
be a fucking serious, that would get you right, for sure.
The cop
had no idea what they're dealing with. It's
right.
just all racism and stereotyping.
Yeah.
And we have these people running around like protecting us, and the folks that do pile up the cocaine on the front of their cars are providing a service to people that they like, and you're in the way of it.
Right, yeah. It just isn't like a thing. It's so weird. That is the weirdest story
that's
I've
crazy.
seen in a while. A bird shit being I've seen cops say the dumbest things about drugs. I really have. I got busted by the police for weed one time when I was 17, and we had about an eighth, and he estimated that we had a quarter pound when he called it over to his other people. Like, he got on the thing and was like, yeah, we got a few teenagers here at this park and have some marijuana. I believe it's about a quarter pound of marijuana. That's a felony. And I was just like I've seen that. I've seen cops ask crazy questions about drugs. It's like, part of me thinks
they don't know anything.
Part of me has gotten to the point, maybe this sounds ridiculous, but if you want to be a cop, the
new cops
in the new cops, first of all, drugs should be legal anyway.
Yeah, there's no reason to have new cops even anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if we're gonna have to have cops like at this police academy, we got this war on drugs. Why aren't they just making them do a little bit of drugs just so they know?
It's not gonna
like
kill
at the
them.
academy,
It's not gonna fucking kill them.
You just sit at a little desk, you get a little key bump, maybe of coke.
Try it.
A little bit of key bump, maybe a little bit of fentanyl, just tiny bits,
Yeah.
just enough to get you like, real close.
Know what it, know
where
it,
you want to be.
Just know it, yeah.
Because, I mean, they really think this stuff is like
But
dynamite,
then they start
dude.
fucking stealing. But then they're just paid to steal it from people.
I know.
There's been a few. I mean, I don't think we've documented it very well, but there's been a few officers that have like OD'd in their fucking car because they're just like partying. They're just basically robbing people to party.
Yeah.
know?
I do know that, like, there's been some pretty bad, like, Vice stuff recently and shit. So, Brett, put your headphones in.
All
We'll
right.
get this last story. We got some audio. Seems like we need to play it. It's in our wheelhouse, and it's a jerk. I gotta turn the sound on.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Here we go.
You're
You
a
ready?
jerk. You're a jerk. Yeah.
If you had to work more than one job to have a roof over your head or food on the table, you probably shouldn't have taken the job that's not paying you enough. That'd be a you problem. Also, it is not true the vast majority of people in the United States are working two jobs. It just is not true. According to the census statistics, a small but steady number of American workers have more than one job
well, the
because either they
census.
need extra income or because they want to gain more experience or explore different interests. There's a recently released U.S. Census Bureau report, and apparently what it found is that approximately 8.3%, this is as of 2013, so it's actually lower now, 8.3% of workers had more than one job.
Hey, he's gotten rich doing radio, and that's what he sounds like on his radio show.
That's what people don't want to admit that they lost. People don't want to admit that like we got sold out and that we haven't been making any gains, and that statistics show we own less and less, and we're leasing everything and renting everything, and there's no retirement for everybody. And instead, he just wants to report that people are out there and they're fighters and they're going to make something out of themselves. And, 65-year-old fucking people are like, getting a new job at CVS as a greeter and are like, well, you got to start somewhere, It's like, I'm going to start from the bottom, and I think I got a shot here to make something out of it. And it's like, you lost, No, you people don't admit that we gave up everything so that they could have everything. Like, we sold ourselves.
Let's redistribute
away.
this. Let's finish this.
That was as of 2013. It's a lot lower now.
No, it's
so this
not,
notion
you
that there are
lying
just
ass
tons and
motherfucker.
tons of people who are working at multiple jobs, it is not really true. It's not actually the reality.
Could we count Uber and Lyft and
In May,
and Grubhub
5%
and
of Americans
Etsy?
had multiple
Etsy.
jobs. 5%.
eBay.
That's really what's bringing down the
And
unemployment
are
rate.
we
is those
trusting the
5% of
census?
workers who have
Is it a
multiple jobs.
conservative trusting the census?
Hey, for all of the talk about people working at Uber, it's held to that range actually really since 2009. It's always been a very, very low number.
Yeah.
So this again is just a lie. It is also this bizarre idiocy that you can dictate to the economy what the economy ought to do. Every time everybody tries to dictate to the economy what it ought to do, the economy fights back because it turns out the aggregate knowledge of the market economy knows more than you do.
Okay.
Well,
Here's something that I would like to do.
That's
with the economy, though, that maybe hasn't been thought about. It's like just take all of that money from the people that are hoarding it and just spread it evenly among all of the people.
Yeah, and that was,
Let's try that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's annoying because he's so obnoxious, but that was completely intellectually dishonest to not talk about Uber post 2009, because back in 2009 is when those people were getting like ridiculous payments and were like leasing a vehicle, leasing like a Cadillac Escalade and paying for it by driving for fucking Uber in 2009. And it has now been chiseled down to the point where folks are making $7.85 and doing a whole bunch of damage to their fucking vehicles.
And working 12, 13, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
In the car. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
completely,
when-
that's like you just ignored the glaring point that we're all making.
Right. And when we say two jobs, like, sure, go ahead and dance around the independent contractor side hustle thing. But, like, to me,
because people are interested. They want to be dog sitters, right? They want to be dog walkers. That's what they do. They sign up to Dog Walk app, because they want to get new skills. It's not because they need money or because they're struggling or they can't afford to get by. It's because they want to do TaskRabbit stuff. They want to do stuff like, filing paperwork. They want to do coupon apps. That's why. It's not because they need money. It's because they want to do coupon apps.
and to me, a world
What a
where...
fucking asshole.
Yeah,
man.
I agree.
So disconnected from the world. I would just... we could strip everything from that son of a bitch. You
Yeah, I
know,
know.
he just has nothing to offer,
He'd take
and
every
can't
single
get by.
thing.
Can't get by on nothing less than extravagance.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit! Just soaks up so much
Never-
resources, so much money is spent to for that guy to tell people that they shouldn't pay attention to the deal that we're getting as workers in this country.
Never worked a day. He's
No.
never worked.
Never
not one
never
single
graduated from school and had to figure out how to make 40 hours a week work.
minute. Yeah, he's never worked a single minute in his life. He sat on the radio. Look, me and Brett will complain about work. This is easy. It's not loading boxes and trucks, and it's not climb. And maybe that's why we have a respect for people who are working real jobs and not getting by, because we have actually worked real jobs and barely gotten by. A guy like this he's never worked a service job. He went to Harvard, which basically if somebody goes to Harvard, it's like, okay, well, they got in there because their parents had money.
No, I mean we're all done. I mean we're all idiots that are like triggered to give them everything. It's like, oh, you deserve the world. You're brilliant, you know. But you're gonna figure out a way to get another 0.5% out of my fucking backside.
Right. And the thing about it is, I look at a world where people are working 2 jobs, where a business like Uber can thrive, where a business like Lyft or Grubhub and where these businesses can thrive off of exploiting people's position. I look at that as a bad world. That is a negative. That the market, if that is what the market is, if the market has made this decision of this, and I don't even want to hear the thing about this here too is, we talk to a lot of people that work 2 jobs, but we also talk to a lot of people that work 1 job and are barely getting by and don't have any time outside of that job to do another job. And it's like taking every minute of their fucking life, you know?
Yeah, and I mean the thing about it is like, yeah, Amazon is pretty great. If at the end of the day we could all put an order in for the stuff the daily necessities that we wanted, and it got delivered every single month, and we didn't have to worry about toilet paper ever again. I would appreciate it. The people that make that happen got something, and they should have. But instead, the guy in charge, Jeff Bezos, made like $1 million a fucking hour instead, right? Like, he robbed everybody along the line that was providing something that we all want, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, the people at the top are taking way too much, and it's coming from everyone else. And those folks are... I would rather have them have something and these other folks lose everything.
Right, yeah. I mean, and that's what I think when I see these guys.
Like, you can be regular. You can just have fucking food and shelter and not, you know, several houses and yachts and shit.
Right. Yeah. And I just think I just think that like people do listen to this guy, and people do take him seriously, and they think that he's a guy who has something to offer the world and all of this shit, but he's doing nothing.
He's telling
and he's
people
full of shit. He's
telling
a
people
liar.
up the river. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a liar. He is a little boy that doesn't understand how the real world works. He is a little boy that has never lived in the real fucking world of the people that he's on the radio fucking talking to. And I can't fucking believe that people's grandparents listen to this little boy go on his little radio show and let him sit there and fucking tell them that it's their fault that they got fucked by this economy. Because that little boy was never needed anything. He never wanted for anything. He was always, from the day he was born, fucking guaranteed to be secure and comfortable. And that's the thing. Like, I wish these people fucking understood that. I wish that a lot of these conservative types would understand that, like, a lot of these people that they look up to have no idea what you're going through, what you've been through, and what you've been through is you're brave, You deserve everything that you deserve, so much more. You deserve so much more of the company, and what you've done is tough and hard, and you've toiled and you've worked your ass off, and you've gotten nothing, you know. And like this guy, boy, I call him a little boy.
No boy.
This little boy, he just tells them, like, well, that's because you don't know what you're doing. It's like, oh, well, maybe I should have just been born to rich fucking parents and that got me into Harvard, and then also sold my fucking soul so that the Koch brothers would buy advertising on my stupid fucking radio show and prop me up so I can go on speaking tours. Like, that is what he does. That is his living. That is what he does. I find it fucking sick that a guy like him is talking to a person that works at fucking Burger King and drives for fucking Uber. Like, that person isn't doing anything.
Right.
You know?
They're
That's
not
what's sick.
dedicated enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same as like for us to say like, oh, you know, follow your dreams and work really hard, and you can get what you want. And it's like, not everybody can fucking get this. Not everybody is going. There's not enough positions at the top for folks to get, like, you know, food security, housing security. It requires so much money, and we're so fucking far behind. And there is enough available for people so they don't have to be stressed, and so that their kids don't have to, like, miss school and shit. And it's right there, and it's in our face. And this is somebody that's telling us things are okay because we all fucked up and didn't try hard enough, and we should have had extra jobs to build our skill sets, you know, so we could eventually become a six figure income earner, you know.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
All right. Well, that's the show this week.
Yeah,
We'll
thanks
be
for
back
listening to
next
Street
week.
Fight Radio. Come see us. We're going to be in Indianapolis on Monday, the 26th. We're going to be in Detroit on the 27th. We're going to be in Chicago on the 30th, Friday. We're going to have Struggle Session with us all those days. It's a joint venture. We're hitting up the van. We're going to all jump in the van, travel around, do the shows. It's going to be a great time. Store.streetfightradio.com will have those tickets. The Facebook page will too. Patreon. I'm going to, you know, send all the updates as this comes together. Very short notice. I apologize. But it's still going to be a great time, and I can't wait to get this shit together. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Street Fight WCRS. You can watch the show on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, at Street Fight WCRS. Twitch, we're Street Fight Radio. Thanks for being here and supporting everything we do. If you want more of this, we ask that you consider a monthly donation. You know, it helps us spend money on, you know, people to take care of other tasks, so we can do tours like the Hellfire Congregation tour, so we can do the Struggle Session thing, make it all work, and keep spreading this mess across the U.S. We appreciate all of y'all. And we'll see you on Sunday. We're doing the call-in show, right?
Yes, we are.
So get ready. It's happening this Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Brett. He's Brian. Peace.